On your marks, get set, go. Hey, everybody, it's November, a new month, new episode. I was going to say new beginning, but not at all. We haven't died. We're not planning on it. We've got a whole bunch of adventuring to do in this world. And one of the things that we need to do in terms of adventuring is go get more quartz. Yes, that's what we talked about in the last episode. No big changes or surprises here. Let's take the underground route. And I guess we kind of talked about stone and cobble blocks and all that kind of stuff. My instinct here is to go down kind of that T junction where we went in the last episode and turned the one way, and actually go the opposite direction. Before we do any of that, let's go restock on meat and torches. We've got a brand new arrow. I don't think it's ever been fired. An arrow, a bow. The arrow moving vehicle. There it is. Very first bow. Oh, yeah. Good memories with that one, huh? Alright. We've got light. We've got noms. We got tools. How full are these? 17, plenty, and the stone is full, so we are good to go. Let's do it. We'll just kind of see where we end up, and where adventure takes us today. Kind of think it's gonna be a There are so many slimes in here. For one thing, it's suddenly changed. It's November now, and although yesterday was kind of in that direction, yesterday it was a little overcast, but cool. It was probably in the 40s all day, and felt like a fallish kind of day instead of spoiled late summer. Today, you woke up and it was like, ooh, it's really there. This is fall. Fall could be a little bit more than that, right? And we had... Oh. I don't know that we had a frost of any speakable nature. It was... Oh, I don't like it when you guys go swimming in the lava like that. And from my experience, there really hasn't been any point to trying to wait them out or dodge them or anything. They just hang out there. So, kind of one of those is what it is deals. Might as well plop down right here. That is, well, take 4. This is the one that we really want. And we'll do 9, 10. And then, you know what? How about this? This will be a surprise whenever I find those back in there. What do I have? Slime and magma slime in my chests. Although I'll probably see him out here again multiple times. Alright, well, here we go. And this is a good opportunity since we won't really be looking around much or other than potentially getting knocked off of this a lot and having some fun. In the last episode, or it may have been the one before, I'm not sure if I was talking about it, got distracted, and never went back, or just ran out of time. Where are you? More in this lava. I don't. All right, enough. I really don't like those. I don't know. They never used to seem to be a deal, and I don't know what changed there. Um, but whatever the case may be, the under lava ghasts are annoying. So, before I get completely diverted again, which I'm sure will happen many times, um, I was talking about how I've recently been playing this new run of Skyrim and really enjoying it. I think I'd been talking about the fact that um, anytime you restart games, I think I don't know what all the difficulty levels there are on it. I've looked, I've just seen in the settings when I've been checking things on mine. I'm playing it expert, whatever level that means to people. It seems to fit pretty well, feels good. You still in Fallout, Skyrim, those types of games, you're still gonna die. Those just get game kind of builds those in. Um, so like a hardcore mode there wouldn't really fit with me. But I like a challenge and I like to not die as I'm playing along. Um, but as I've gone, and not quite as deep content wise as I have some in the past, but I've gotten to this point where I've run into trouble before, and it absolutely just kills my desire to keep going in the game. And I wonder if other folks have run into this before, or find this in other games where, it's not that the game has become too tough or anything like that. Hang on a second. Wow, sorry. I had to get a sip there. Okay. Um, Not that the game has become too challenging, it certainly hasn't. And like I said, I've started this game multiple times and have made it up to this point before. So I'm rolling along, and for folks familiar with the game, I just did the first of the Bard's College quest line. So they did the King Olaf ceremony and have done a bunch of the Blue Palace stuff, at least in that early round. I don't know what I don't know yet, but I know in the early round, the Pelagius Wing and some of that kind of stuff. All done. Also, I think I'm at um, level 98 Alchemy, and this may play into it. I don't know, but my character is around 30 um, levels, and primarily two-handed. Little bit of healing, probably regen is the most used. Magic, a little bit of damage, um, and candlelight. I think are the main spells that I use. So um, light there, but I built up my Lakeview Manor. I bought and begun work on the whatever the Morthal house is that looks out over Solitude. And so, it's all going great. I'm cruising along. I got Lydia hanging back at the house. Got one of the just random friends picked up along the way as my companion. And things are good, going good. And the first one that I noticed that goes wrong, and it's happened multiple times, is the um, I don't know. It's the wife of the guy who was executed when you first get into town, and she wants his amulet. And I don't know if this is a part of the problem or not. I've gotten stuck with that stupid amulet since probably the first time I ever made it to Solitude in gameplay, and maybe this is what I've been doing wrong all the way along. But going to town to talk to everybody as it's going on and get their opinions on it afterwards, and then as in the course of things I end up checking up there, and and end up with that amulet in my pocket, and you can't get rid of it. And since it's not a named different amulet, it still stacks with all the others of the same type, and then you can't get rid of any of them. So I've had big weight issues in the past where I just kind of slowly get overwhelmed, and it's never become that much of a problem, but it's very annoying to have these stupid amulets in my pocket. So then you go, and at that point you don't know anything about it. But if you go through a certain sequence, there's some exchanges that tell you that you need to go talk to so and so will eventually say that she needs that amulet. And I had it in my inventory. It was already known as a quest item, and I gave it to her. And in the dialogue, she says, "Okay, thanks, blah 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 blah." The expected next lines of dialogue are played, and she treats it as, "Okay, this is said and done. We are all good." But if I look at the quest description, nothing has changed. And if I look at the if I talk to her again, there's no further engagement on the quest dialogue, but the quest still shows up in my log as incomplete and says I need to talk to her again, and it's stuck. And I can go back, and as far as I know, unless I'm totally missing something, I've gone back, I've replayed through this multiple times, I've gone to the temple that ultimately she's supposed to be going back to, all that kind of stuff. I've tried this and that, and it's seemingly stuck there. And I know, all those big Bethesda games certainly have some of that buggy behavior. I've in the past worked my way through whatchamacallit, the Volkir, I think is his name. I'm just going purely from memory here. Dude that was a hunter by Falkreath with his friends. They get jumped by Spriggans. You have to heal him up to start the quest. And I've had that one where I've had healing hands at the point where I've talked to him and gotten stuck, locked in there. So I know that there are those kinds of pitfalls, and at some point you got to kind of cut your losses and be like, all right, well, I guess I'm stuck with this. But it drives me nuts to have a quest that is uncleared in my list, even though in this particular instance, I seemingly once I've had that, I can then drop the amulets or sell them or anything, and it doesn't seem to care at that point. But I can't release that quest from my active miscellaneous, so that drives me bonkers. And then there was kind of another last straw type deal, and I can't remember now. And as I'm talking about that other one, what the other one was that just started going bad. I think I'd left. I was, maybe it was just a crash that it just started getting flaky. I don't know. I know it tied into being out on the road and having two situations where the game erred. And this is all I should say, on playing on a PS4. So it is the game. I don't save all that much because it's very, very, very tedious to manage save files on the PS4. I think it's just awful. And there's a little bit of finite space issue there. So typically I work with autosaves, and that's part of the problem, right? I don't have episodes worth of saves or anything like that where I can just go back once it starts going back. Or if I know it's something I've done in the past, I can't go back and be like, all right, well, if I undo this part of this quest, I'm going to get done. So now I'm at that dreaded point where I don't want, I don't know. I don't want to stop, but I don't want to deal with things that I think are major letdowns in my game experience. And that's a huge, huge reason why I think I have restarted the early part of that game so much. And it's, I don't think about it. I always talk about how, like, oh yeah, I love that game and get playing, but it's so frustrating when you've got a game that you think is going really right, and then you just have these moments, and you're like, I almost would rather start back over than have to look at that. And there's no other way to get rid of these broken, unresolved things. And anybody who's watched this Minecraft knows I don't like to follow a guide or play the way other people play just to have the least trouble. I will go look stuff up online, like Minecraft Wiki. I've got no problem with that. I use it quite a bit, not as much anymore as I used to, but if I'm wondering about something, it'll usually be a couple days before I actually think to go look it up, but I will, and try to get a real answer on it if I can't figure something out for myself. Or, for instance, the foods, right? When we get to the point of trying to eat every single food, or when we're about to do the every effect in the game, how did we get here? We'll go grab the list of all those that we're trying to line up before starting to lay those all out in front of us. It's just, kind of futile when you're sitting here and trying to keep track of what you've done. You can do the list and kind of note them off, and I've shown in the past, and maybe when we get some of those, I'll try again to include like a notepad with the list of them in the actual playthrough, so I can go through and check them off with you guys, and we'll all note together when we're done. We'll see. But it would be equally frustrating to get to the later content of the game without these major, what I feel are roadblocks or debilitating parts of the game, having to follow somebody's, kind of cookbook of, you got to do this before you do that, or this or that. Just the right sequence to make it all work. And it's yet another reason why I so appreciate what Minecraft is, can, and continues to be, and why each time there's like a Minecon and they're talking about new content and all that, developers can get to the point where they're a little bit blinded when they're doing game development. And there's anything sequential to that, they have an expectation that you're going to do this, that, this, and that in this order to reach this point of the game or this tier. And that kills me, because a game that is open world, and we all know the open world of Skyrim is a little different than the open world of Minecraft. They both use tricks and things to make you feel like you're a part of a world that's always all out there and happening when you're not. It's not true. In Minecraft, it's chunks. What's your chunk loaded radius? That kind of stuff. Skyrim, same kind of deal. They're just activating. You have little load screens when you go from segment to segment. Here you don't have that, but it's not all there and active all the time. You'd need a really crazy processing engine to do that. and it would, lock down your scalable interactions. So it ends up being a roundabout shout out for Minecraft. I love that this game doesn't get to that point. Sure, there have been bugs along the way, and sure, you can run into things, but by and large, you know, whether or not I've been to a pillager outpost doesn't in any way affect how a fight with a wither goes, right? There's just nothing, and those two are fairly unrelated, right? But it just, there's nothing built into any of those events that cares about my story or any of that. That's all in my head, and I love that degree of freedom to this game when it comes to the advancements and the adventuring and some of the more dependent content, right? There are dependencies, very much as any of those kind of story-based, I don't know if they're ARPG, or, any RPGs in the sense of an ARPG, really. But, you're not going to get to the end game content unless you've worked your way through some of the story stuff. This is a lot longer than I thought. We just keep digging out resources, don't we? That's all right, though. It's going to access parts of the world we haven't been to. So if we had all those, hopefully that'll get us done. Let's leave this out. We've got cleanup stuff to do. So we will be coming back through here. We were doing so well. Fell in the lava once, right? Oh, I didn't want to talk about it. I was going to say that too. Alright, let's see if we can rekindle some of this. So, once again, I find myself a little flat on Skyrim and not wanting to go forward. For what it is and the age that game is, I think what they did with like the house building and the companion characters and the kids and all that is so great. Absolutely fantastic, and I just wish it would keep work. And I get it. It's not financially viable, really, but I wish that that some of those AAA type games would spend a longer cycle on supporting and polishing out those games as they age in their life. I think they do a pretty good job, usually, sadly, because they are compelled after what is always a just chaotic opening. Think of any big AAA type game that's launched, and queuing and all that kind of stuff, major bugs and all that. So obviously they have a lot of support, and they get used to it, and learn what they either didn't catch or didn't have time to deal with before going live, and what really their user base either cares about or doesn't care about as time goes on. But I think you do get a different set of things as the game ages and people play in it longer, and kind of the completionist type mentality players really get under the hood and are like, okay, well, there's a subset of people that really enjoy kind of max tiering these particular sets of skills together. It seems to work out pretty well, and it facilitates interacting with the game in a way that maybe wasn't intended by design, but is fun and rewarding, and people have have gotten a kick out of it. And I'd love to see some of those have an onboard interest in coming back to support that. And, rightfully some of that just falls under the greater heading of modding, right? And game developers like, well, here are the keys. Go nuts, man. If you want to do something like that, code it out to make it. Well, maybe that's fair. I kind of wish some of those things would work out of the box, and that while companies are so willing to sell those games, right? They're still out there on the platforms, and they're still getting a revenue check anytime you play or update or any of those kind of things. So if you're still selling it as a product, take the time to grow the support a little bit. See if there's any platform specific things that might be happening. But I got a bad feeling that my play has once again reached a level where either I'm taxing it through having too much resource load, although I've really tried not to. And I said that, kind of high level alchemist in the skill, and had just done the bard stuff, because my kind of standard build out and path to success is to start working alchemy very early and get the potions that allow me to make up for my lack of top tier armor, weapons, skills. That all my skills need time to catch up, so boost all those with potions, and ingredients are free for the picking, so it's a good kind of quick path. And within the game calendar itself, I'm in my second month of play, so I'm moving along pretty quick. I've got a townhouse all bought and paid for in Whiterun, and the homes you can build, one set and done, a couple kids, and I guess a Lydia. We're not hitched or anything, but she's helping look after my my daughter, and we got a pet dog. We got all the nice custom furnishings and fun in the house, and I love it. I want to continue on now to kind of grow into that, I guess, mid-game content, story content. But just as, I'm getting to that level, the game seemingly starts to really struggle. And I'd be curious, if anybody's listening and has run into similar stuff, did you find a way to get past it and kind of push through to late game? What concessions did you find yourself making for stability over story or experience, or did you never have any of those issues at all? Maybe it's just something I'm not processing right, but I don't know. I think I will look at that, but facing the bleak prospect of either restarting or just resigning myself to an unfixable situation in Skyrim kind of dropped me off of it unexpectedly, and I don't know. I had just done 1.5 kind of start and goes, so it may be a while before I get another. Maybe I'll revisit Fallout. But the bigger news was yesterday after recording Minecraft, as said, lots of football during the day. There was a World Series game. Very, very entertaining that, because it kept the series alive, and there was lots of scoring in that one. The other news of the day. Oh, so I guess story for you guys is I ended up restarting a Stardew. And Stardew, I say restarting. I usually set goals for myself for that year 3. I don't worry about, can you do all of the community center in the first year or not. It's kind of a thing you try for in the background, but, well, I won't get into that. We've already talked a different game enough in this one. My main kind of the way that I approach Stardew, for those of you guys, and I've talked about it. I don't think that would ever work for anything other than a stream. I just, I get going. I want to sit and play for a good long while and not constantly be breaking into little segments. So where Minecraft, you can kind of set those various activities broken out into day-like cycles, or multi-day, but good hour-long sessions. In Stardew, at least, I really can't. So I wouldn't subject you guys to it, but I love that game and think it's really nice to have going when you've got other stuff going on in the background. In that sense, it's very much like an OSRS kind of deal. Just do your thing. Doesn't have to be all-consuming, but is very, very testing. When you do want to, get even a possibility of having a couple kids and being married, and all the milestones going into that year 3. With the bundles and the adventures and whatnot, you gotta kind of be on it. You gotta be doing your thing, get a little RNG, and I love, the more I go back and play that, the more I love the way the RNG was seemingly built to allow you to succeed in different playstyles based on what you get. And the longer, any game, the more you play it. Hang on one second again. Okay. Hang on one second. While we do that, let's check time. 30. So Stardew or any of those games like that, when I first started playing that, I was like, man, this is crazy hard. You don't know anything, and it's really difficult. The crunch of those time versus resource games can be pretty straight up stressful, right? You're trying to make everything happen, and there's kind of there's a point when you're first figuring things out. You don't even know how much you should be trying to get done. You're just kind of like, hey, whooping around. Hey, it's fun. Very casual style, right? You're getting to know the environment and you're on a different timeline. And then once you kind of played through, gone, oh, okay, my life gets a whole lot easier when I can do this, that, or the other thing. So you start kind of trying to prioritize what you do at the beginning, at the outset, to make yourself successful later on. And a lot of the YouTubers, I don't even know what it is these days, but early on it was finish the greenhouse year 1, which is it's kind of built in. I'm sorry, not finish the community center year 1. greenhouse being so important by the first winter to have ready to go. And so that kind of became the speed run, can you do it type thing, and you can. It's I'm kind of always right on the cusp. There are a couple items in the traditional item set that are very RNG based. You can do things to improve your odds on them, but there are only random ways to get them done, and semi-random, right? But you can't just make a million coins and go spend them to get items that will ensure that happens. You need to have a little bit of luck in the game to make sure that you get the opportunity to even do that. Because of that, I kind of thought, you do end up getting to that point. I'm sure a lot of the YouTuber kind of, racer types become, okay, I didn't get it in that first year, so I'm going to throw this world away. And there's so much more fun to be had in that. And if after a year you're barely getting going, so I don't like doing that, and I also think it's kind of counter to the game development. There are a few well-known, they're not cheating, but maybe a bit exploity means to get some early progress and wealth in the game. All right, are we still forest over here? We are. So let's re-inventorize. Maybe not that. Alright, that worked out pretty well. Let's do this. A fresh one of those. All the fresh ones of these. I don't get it. I think I know the dog, but there's this dog that has just been going crazy this morning. Not ever since, it comes and goes, but I hear it barking again right now. And it was going so hard at I don't know, 7:30 or something this morning. So not not like, hey, this is unacceptable. I'm going up there with my screaming face on to tell them to shut their dog up. I give dogs and parents that own, or people that own dogs, a whole lot of latitude. Sometimes dogs just have their own opinion, and you don't want them to, it's kind of like a crying baby, right? You want nothing less than to listen to your own dog barking like that, knowing that everybody else can hear it too. But hopefully whatever's been going on with that dog settles down. Maybe it just doesn't like the cloudy skies and kind of damp. So yeah, I ended up doing a little Stardew yesterday. Got the first spring out of the way, and crazy. As I was saying, it's fun as you play more to see how the game. I don't know how much is a read and react to what you've begun. Has the player done such and such to this point, or spent X amount of time on various activities, and will random type rewards and things like that reflect it. But in this one, I wouldn't say I've done anything particularly spectacular or unexpected in that first month of this game. But it'll give you guys a little bit of rundown in case I ever do have a stream of the game. You can kind of know what to expect and measure how much I've been impacted by conversations with everyone here. So pretty reliably when I play Stardew, I have a few milestones in that first month that are things I'm going to try to knock out as I go. The top and most important one are strawberries. I've heard, I think once you kind of get started in the game and have understood what those can mean to you, most everybody makes a push to. There's a festival event during the first month of the game, the game month, that where a vendor will sell you strawberry seeds. And strawberries are one of the nice crop type plants, fairly high value, and they will continually produce their crop throughout the season. So and because the seeds are only sold at that one time, if you get them there, you only have about half the month left to grow them. And so lots and lots and lots and lots of folks figure out, or the YouTubers and the folks have said, yeah, you gotta get them. You'll get a couple crops out of them in that first year, and it's good cash. Well, what I haven't seen, big insider secret here. If you've done a couple things right throughout the year, you can actually get a full bonus harvest of those. You can make it so that they will grow out and give you a crop on the last day of the season before all the plants die. And that is a huge difference in your first year. So I always push to make those conditions work out right and it's kind of the first day and then the festival day. You gotta know what you're trying to have an outcome of. So I did that. I had 20 strawberry plants, which is about the working limit I've found for cash, and you're going to be limited on food and energy and all that and tools. So I found 20 is a good number to go with there. I got all those, grew them all up, did very well there. Then in and around all that, the first week, when you still can't get to the mines, you start hitting that fishing so hard. And I'm not the greatest fisherman, but I'm pretty solid at that little mini game. It's not overly complex, and it's really just a matter of practice and repetition, getting to learn which fish are going to do what and all that. So no upgrades to fishing or of any kind, but I think in that first month I got up to level 6, and it turns into a lot of wealth if you're doing it on rainy days, good luck days. You can pull a lot of good stuff out of the ocean specifically, and then just target any particular fish that I'll leave them. That you're counting on for. I don't like him up there. For fishing advancements, but spring doesn't even matter. You'll get more chances at everything. So I don't sweat fishing. I basically just go to the ocean and try to get as improved skill as I can at fishing. Along the way, you're going to get these little loot chest things if you or the chance to pull out little loot chest things if you can manage it. And in one of those, that felt. Did I just break those? It should have. Maybe I just walked up to them. Those all came down, but I don't know. Anyway, in one of those chests while I was playing along, I got the Neptune's Glaive, and I've pulled out a couple diamonds already. So I've been allowed to upgrade my watering can, my shovel, and my axe. My shovel, as I'm grabbing it, my pick and my axe in that game, all up to bronze level in the first month. And I still have like 9 grand for seeds. And I have my spring crops and foraging sets already done, and the blacksmith's bundle to get the spare furnace. I think I have a set of 5 furnaces already, and I just went to... I don't know if I made it to level 65 of the mine yet, but pretty good. And I'm at level 6, I think I said, on fishing and farming. And I don't think I've gone that far on foraging or mining or combat yet. But so that Neptune's Glaive, I think I just pulled that out on the... so I just finished the month and came over to switch and play with you guys. Just finished out the month, and got that sword, the Neptune's Glaive, which is a great early game weapon. I think it's like a level 5 sword, and I've been using the steel small sword. I had gotten to the chest to do better than the rusty sword, but and that's kind of what I was thinking in terms of the RNG that the game gives when you're getting started out. For one thing, when you're an early player, you don't even see much of that because you just don't have the skills or the knowledge to even put yourself in a position where good things can happen. And I think that's where the game kind of does pick up, oh, this person is at the middle of the month and they've only made 1,000 coins in that whole time. So maybe we should get them a low tier weapon. But when you've done the mines, a bunch, and you kind of know as much as you possibly can how to deal with the mobs and how to get past them, then you are much more likely to have those chances for good fortune. So I think there's a little bit of that. Whereas I think if you're a novice player, you're gonna be spending more time in the places where you can get like a wooden sword or some of those kind of things that you may not, that I didn't, because I just wasn't around that long. Just interesting to wonder about how those are designed into the like that lava. How those are built into the game, but I think you do kind of make your own luck, is I guess what I was trying to say, by being able to fish up more treasure chests and all that kind of stuff. But I also think there's the game is going, oh, you're ahead of schedule to be at this level at this time in the game, so therefore we'll give you such and such, maybe. I don't know. But I had a early on, probably in the second week, it was shortly after I'd first gotten into the mines, fishing along happily one evening, I think, and boom, in the little treasure chest I fished up was an Iridium Band and a diamond. Talk about good fortune. Um, those items are huge. The Iridium Band is a craftable thing, and it takes 5 Iridium band or bars, and usually you're into the second year of your game when you're really beginning to get Iridium bars, and most of those, for me at least, are all being pledged to sprinklers. So um, getting an Iridium Band is pretty late game level item, even more so than the sword I just picked up. And it gives you, it basically combines the 2 early rings of the game that you would find, the glow ring and the magnet ring, so you get a wider collection radius and light at night. And it gives you a 10% attack bonus, just like that, boom. And you then have freed up your other ring slot to put something else into. So that's pretty delightful. Now, I suspect that's going to come back to hit me, because usually when you're getting those kinds of good fortune, you're missing out on the one farming good fortune that I think everybody knows, and that's the ancients. Um, and I haven't seen one yet, but I suspect I will be working for that little goodie for quite a while before I pick one of those up or get the opportunity to shoot. Kind of botched that, didn't I? Was too worried about these things. So yeah, I think I could be waiting a long time for the one item that really lets my farm start building for the future long range. But I also I have one coffee bean, so I'm gonna start that for the summer. Just got it, so I didn't have a chance to really start it out with my spring crops. But that should kind of give me a cushion on my greenhouse whenever I can unlock it. Usually, as I mentioned, strawberries and coffee beans supplement my greenhouse until I can fill it in with that most precious of goodies. Get those. Oh my god. All of you go away. I don't want any of you. Because I want you. Oh, you sweet, sweet ancient debris. I don't see any others around, as we talked about in the past. That's going to be one that's probably solo. Not part of a larger vein of ancient debris. Gotta be a little lower down for more pieces. But that makes 2. One, I believe, is sitting in our oven back at base. And we haven't been looking. Okay, so we are back into waste. Let's see, how far do these wastes go? And there. That's not very great, is it? There's not a lot to work with there. But we do have the shelf, and the shelf does seem to wander around, so that could be good. Let's clean up our tunnel here and see what that leaves us for time. Because maybe we'll be able to head out from here for quartz gathering in the next episode. Or maybe we'll have to go back and grab more stone to go out that way. Should really do something about these floors next. But first, I want to do something about these litterings all over the floor. And let's actually get this. I don't think we had any tiers yet. Should give us plenty to fill in here. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Alright. Now I just give ourselves a little bit of headroom and we'll be all set. And maybe get some more quartz along the way. Very colorful and pretty. Quick glance at the pick just to make sure it's still holding up okay. 3's fine here. I just figured with the boxes out and ready, and having kind of worked on these excavations here, I mistakenly thought that we would see more quartz if we went up a little higher, and we get the jumpy, bouncy tunnel, so it's nice. Those gravel did fall. Huh, well, not much there. How does that do? Well enough. Oh. Comes out. Bunch more stone if we need it. all I really want to do now is pick these up. Okay, we don't need, oh, don't need that. Do need that. An hour. All right, I was going to go explore, but we are set for the next episode. Let's go just down to the end of the tunnel. We'll eat as we go. We'll be over by a minute. So as I'm talking now, let's remind everyone how much I appreciate you guys coming to hang out. Hope your sugar hangovers aren't too painful, and maybe that you got enough left over you can have a few pieces to carry over through the school or work day today. Take care of yourselves. You are all fantastic, and I appreciate the visits. If you're dropping by and enjoying the content, feel free to leave a like or feel free to leave a comment or hit the like button. If you leave a comment, particularly if you've got some YouTube videos up, or if you just enjoy playing any of those games, Stardew, Skyrim, Minecraft, similar situations you found yourselves in, or advice on how I can kind of get beyond those, I would greatly appreciate. But otherwise, I just appreciate you being here and hanging out as I get to enjoy playing hardcore vanilla Minecraft. We'll see you in the next one, and thanks so much for coming. Stay awesome and enjoy the beginning of November. Bye now.